this is Girot. I am your image design teacher, and I'm going to teach you how to colorize an image today. So open up your GIMP program in another window and open up this video in another window, and you can follow along, pause the video as needed, practice doing what I'm showing you, and I'm sure by the end eventually you'll have a beautiful product. If you've already taken a photography class, then you might want to use your own photos, get your camera out and shoot a scene that you think would look really interesting when colorized. You could shoot pictures of your pets. I know some of you love your pets, or if you want to Google, you can Google. I'm just going to go ahead and Google interesting images. And there's definitely some interesting images, so I might need to get a little more specific, I'm realizing. So maybe I'll pick a subject. Maybe I want to colorize a giraffe. That could be fun. And so I think I like this one right here. However, maybe I should pick something that has more of a background so that I can colorize the background too. Because I do want to create this feeling of a new world, right? So this one's kind of cool right here because it's got the giraffe and it has some trees and some landscape in the background. So that might be the one that I'm going to go for. This one's pretty cool. It's got a rainbow, but that looks like it would be kind of hard to colorize the rainbow. Might be a little more work, but this one's super fun. Look at that. Whoa, love that. Now, one of the things you're going to want to be careful of is if you get colors that are super close to each other, like the way this white and the white on the ear, it's going to be a little bit harder possibly to select what you want. But if you can get like these contrasts, like this blue sky is clearly a different color than this zebra's neck, then that is going to be a lot easier for you to do this assignment. So I recommend looking for contrast. This one right here, man, that could be really cool. And so could that. This assignment's not easy. The hardest part about these assignments probably is deciding what image you want to use, because you want to create a dramatic effect. Oh, that is so cute. I love that one. Man, some good photos on here. So I've got some really cute shots. There was the one that had the tree up here that I liked. What to do? What do you think? I say we go for cute. So I'm going to go for it. This one right here. Okay, so I'm going to wait for it to download, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to visit the page first because I want to make sure that I give credit. So this is coming from the Marwell Zoo, and I'm just going to copy that address, and I'm going to just take a little note card, get a new note here, and I'll paste that address there. So when I go to turn that into the Dropbox, I'm going to submit and give credit to where this image came from. Okay, so I don't want to act like it's my picture, right? And then I'll just go ahead and right click on it, and I'm going to save this image. Hopefully you've gone in, and if you haven't, you can do that now to your pictures or wherever you save stuff, and create a folder. So you'll notice I have an image design folder here. You create folders here where it says new folder. So I'm going into my image design folder, and I'm going to create a 2016-17 folder for when I teach this class, and this is going to be my week 1 folder, and I'm going to just go ahead and call this giraffe and sky, and I could even paste that web address in there as part of the file, and that in a sense is kind of giving it credit. Oops, that file's not valid, probably because of all of the different types of characters in it. So maybe I could just call this Marwell Zoo image. That way at least I'm giving some credit, right? The next thing I need to do is go into GIMP. So I have GIMP here on my quick shortcut toolbar at the bottom. If you can't find it, then just do a search and it should come up if you've downloaded it. If you haven't downloaded it, just go to the top of this assignment or the week 1 lesson. It gives instructions in both places to download GIMP at gimp.org. So this is how your GIMP should look, and if it's not looking like this, that could be troublesome for you, so you'll probably want to come and see me in the classroom, and I can help to make sure that your GIMP is looking good. One of the first things that usually happens is the GIMP may not be in the single window mode, and if it's not, it might look similar to that, so just go to Windows and switch it to single window mode. That's down here. Okay, also you have your toolbox over here, the tool options. So whatever tool I am working in, it will have options down here, ways that I can adjust it. Like if I'm using the paintbrush, for example, I can increase the size of the paintbrush and the type of paintbrush that I'm using. I can create my own paintbrushes. It's a really cool program. There's also a brush palette over here where you can pick different brushes to paint with. And then over here are your layers. So I want you to start learning right away how to use layers, and we're going to do that today. Can kind of talk about some of these tools. As you move your cursor over them, it will tell you what the tools are. Since I'm making a recording, it's not going to do that for me. But this one is the rectangular select tool, so that will select areas that are in the shape of a rectangle. And here's your ellipse select tool to select areas that are within that ellipse, or you can make it a circle. This is called the free select tool. I always call it the lasso tool as well because it's shaped like a lasso. And this is the fuzzy select or magic tool. Some other things that you might end up using, let's see. I often will use the dropper tool. We're not going to use that today probably, but the dropper tool just allows you to go and click on a color that's on your computer screen, and then it'll save that color in the color palette so you can use that color. This is the zoom tool, and this is where you can zoom in or out. And let's see, this is the move tool. If you need to move something around, you select that one. This is the crop tool right here. It looks like an X-Acto knife. Let's see, this is a rotate tool. So if you need to rotate something, click on that and then you'll be able to rotate it. This is a scale tool. So this, if you click on that, it'll allow you to scale an object, meaning make it larger or smaller. Here is your text tool. This is a paint bucket fill tool. So if you ever need to fill an area, you can just click the bucket instead of having to paint it. This is your pencil tool, and that's a blend tool. This is your paintbrush, your eraser, your airbrush, your clone tool, and let's see, this is to blur objects. This is to smudge objects. Okay, this front little box right here is your foreground, so that's going to be, if you are going to use your pencil or paintbrush, whatever that foreground color is, that's what it's going to paint with. So if you don't want to paint with that color, then you'll click here and you can select a different color, and it's showing you what your current color is versus your old. I'm just going to cancel that because I don't want to change it. Okay, so for today's assignment, you're just going to go ahead and click File, Open, and you're going to find that image. Now, I had mine shared in pictures under Image Design in my 2016-17 Week 1 folder. Here is my giraffe. Perfect. And right now, as I am looking at this image, I'm at 100%, and it says my giraffe is 1.4 megabytes, which is pretty big actually. I could size it down a little bit, but you'll be able to resize it when you export it. So that should be okay. It's going to give you a really good quality. You can increase so you can see a little bit more using this button down here, or you can use that zoom tool that we talked about. And I need to zoom out just a smidgen. So I get the zoom out going, and you'll notice that next to the zoom magnifying glass there's a minus. That means it's going to make it smaller. Okay. The other thing you can do to zoom is view, zoom, and you can change the zoom size here. I always love the fit image in the window option because now I can see the whole thing and it's maximized. So once you have your image chosen, you're going to actually come over here, see how I was talking about your layers, and let's see, if you did not have your layers there, then you could go into Windows dockable dialogues, and this is where all of those dialog boxes, those docks, they're called docks, are, and you could have clicked layers here and that would make it appear. Okay, so if any of your docks are not showing up, just go into Windows dockable dialogs, okay? That's where you'll find them. If your tool options aren't showing up, you can find those tool options there. So when in doubt, just go into those dockable dialogs. Hopefully you'll remember that. So you've got this layer here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on that layer, and I am going to, what I want to do is duplicate this layer. So I'm going to click duplicate. Okay, so now I have two of these layers. Now they're identical, but one of them I'm going to go ahead and lock, and I'm just going to hide it. So this eyeball allows you to, if you don't see an eye, then you won't be able to see it. For example, you can't tell that I've hidden it because I've got this other image on top of it, but if I hide that one, you can see I cannot see anything now. If I make this visible, now I can see that layer. Now I can see that layer, okay? But we're going to lock it so no changes can be made because I want your original image, okay? So you could even go ahead and type in here original and hit enter so I know that that was your original. Okay, so let's go ahead and make your awesome giraffe visible now. So what we're going to be doing is basically we're going to be selecting different areas on here, and then we're going to colorize. Before I do that, I think I want to go into my image, colors, and I'm going to go into brightness and contrast because I think I could use a little more contrast. So I'm going to increase my contrast. Look what that did to the color. I have a preview box here, and if I unclick it, it will show me what it was like before, and then when I click it again, it shows me what it was like after. So I kind of like having all that contrast. You can also adjust brightness. So if you're wanting to see the sky a little bit better, you can. So it's totally a personal choice how you want that to look. So that looks good to me. I'm going to click OK. Now, if you needed to crop your image, you could certainly do that. This is the crop tool. You just click on that. And so for all of you photography people, if you're wondering how to get a program to crop your image, here's a really good example. And this is, I'm just showing you an example. So then you would just click inside, and then it crops whatever. But I'm going to hit Control Z, hold on the Control key and click Z, and that's going to undo what I did. Now I'm going to hit Control Y. Which one do you like better? I think I like it when I cropped it, so I'm going to go ahead and save that change. Now this program could crash on you, so you want to click Save as often as possible. So I'm going to come over to File, and I'm going to go Save As. And I am going to call this, you can name it how you want, but I'm going to call it Colorized Giraffe, you know, the create a new world, week 1 assignment. Okay, so something, you know, that shows you what it is and shows me what it is. So I could easily find your image if I was looking for it. And then you'll just save that under your image design folder. Just make sure you're in the right folder, and the extension is .xcf, okay? So .xcf means that if I'm opening up GIMP and I want to see your work in GIMP, I'll be able to open this file. We wouldn't be able to open a .xcf file in a different type of program though. This is designed to be opened in your GIMP program, okay? So click Save. And now I am going to try to select, let's go ahead and just select the giraffe. So I'm going to just call this layer Giraffe. Okay. And, you know, maybe I'm going to go ahead, no, I don't know, maybe I might just do it all in one layer. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the wand. I love the wand. It's based on color selection, so I can go in and I can click on any area. Okay, just a little warning, my GIMP program crashes. So it's not the smoothest for me to make a video of GIMP. It doesn't crash when I'm not making a video, just when I'm making a video because it's using too much of my computer's memory. But when I hold down the control key and I've got my zoom tool, I can zoom in, and when I hold down my shift key, I can zoom out. I'm trying to get my wand tool. And what the wand does is it will click on this area. So you'll notice that it's selected. Inside of these marching ants is the selection, okay? So it's selecting this brown area. It's based on color. That's what's so cool about the magic wand. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And you'll notice that my marching ants aren't including like this darker brown area. So what I'm going to do is going to hold down my shift key. So when you hold down the shift key while you're using this magic wand, notice that now it's added more color to that selection. So I'm going to hold down my shift key, and I'm just going to keep clicking over here, and I'm going to add these other spots, and I can just keep on adding. This is so cool. I just love this magic fuzzy wand. It is so cool. So you just have to kind of make sure that you're zoomed in far enough that you can see what you're doing. The other important thing about this tool is the threshold. That's why these tool options are important. I have my threshold set at 15, and generally that's pretty good. I want to show you what would happen if I reset my threshold though. I'm going to raise my threshold up quite a bit, and I'm going to show you what happens when I go to select some more. Watch this. Whoa, what just happened? It just selected all over the canvas. Now, that'll happen to you sometimes. That's what it means by threshold. It just started selecting more and more and more. So I'm going to hit Control Z. Control Z is in zebra. That is always going to take you back. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. If you do, just hit Control Z and I'll take you back a step, okay? So let's bring that threshold back down to 15. Because that seemed to be working really well for me. I might be able to go up a little higher. Let's see if I go up to 20, because then it'll select more, but that might be too much. So hold down my shift, and yeah, that's doing a really good job of selecting those spots for me, isn't it? It's doing great job here. I don't know, I think I'll go ahead and keep that in there and just scroll over. Now notice I have some things over here that I don't want. So I can hit my control button and control delete. So I clicked on control and clicked with my magic wand and it deleted that area that I didn't want in there. So hold down my shift again and get the rest of my spots that I'm wanting. Let's see here, I'm all the way at the end. I'm going to keep going up. So I actually picked the giraffe because I thought it might be fun to do spots, different colors. So hold control to get rid of that. And I might just have to decrease my threshold here. So holding down the shift, let's see if that's better. Now the reason why it's selecting this area over here is because it's a very similar color, as you can see. So I want to kind of get rid of that little spot, holding down control, see if that'll do it. Yep, perfect. So in this area, it's a little more similar, so that might be the hair, but let's see here. Can't really tell from where I'm at right now. All right, so I've got all of those spots, gonna keep on. Look at how cute this thing is. So I'm going to go up here and probably should select this stuff, right? It's kind of the same color scheme as what those spots will be. So not sure how far I want to go with the spots, but I'm thinking if it's kind of the same color scheme that I should probably use it, right? So just getting all this brown stuff here. Of course, if I increase my threshold, I'd probably be able to select a lot more at the same time, but then it might select areas that I don't really want it to select. So I'm kind of being picky here by having a lower threshold. Okay, I didn't want that area, Control Z. Hold down my shift key and just keep going. So I'm just clicking and having a ball here. Looks pretty good. Should probably do this area over here. It'd look funny if I didn't have the whole head, right? Okay, so we'll see how this looks. You know, when I'm done, I might think, oh, that was a disaster. But hey, you guys, sometimes you'll make mistakes and you learn from your mistakes. Don't be afraid, you know, to try something and then have it not turn out and be like, oh, well. And you can even write me a comment when you submit your assignment. You can just be like, hey, that just didn't work out the way I was anticipating. Control Z. It went a little too far. Maybe I want to do the inside of the ears, so I'm hitting my shift key and just continue clicking. So just keep on adding more detail. And over here, I want to get this stuff too. So I'm going to just continue clicking away, and I'm going to pause my video for a second, and then I'll be back when I have everything selected. One of the things that you'll notice about GIMP is that it is a raster program, meaning that the program and its images are made up of pixels, and when you zoom in, you can see all of those pixels. So when you use, when you take the digital arts class, you learn how to use a vector program which doesn't have pixels. It has points and lines and mathematical equations. So I accidentally just hit one little pixel over here when I was going to move this. So hit Control Z and it brings me back. So I think I'm feeling pretty good about this. There might be a couple of pixels in the eyes that I want to pick up that are about that color. So, all right, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but we're going to find out. So something you probably haven't seen me doing is just constantly clicking save, and I'm going to now zoom out, and let's see here. Make sure that you have your zoom tool and not your wand selected, And to zoom out, I believe I can hit Shift. Nope, that's in, so Control to zoom out. Guess it might depend on which one of these you have selected too. Okay, so there is my awesome dude, and you know, maybe he's a dude and maybe she's a dudette, and I'm gonna do their coloring differently. So, drum roll please. We're going to Colors, and we're going to Colorize. Dun, dun, dun. Cool. So it's already started colorizing it. So you can change the hue. And this awesome planet, what color do I want my zebra, or no, sorry, not my zebra, but my giraffe's spots to be? So maybe I'm going to go with that. I can click preview. Mine's not going to work because mine's pretty frozen. I'm going to just click OK there. Click File, Save. And I could do Control Z. Oops, and then Control Y. So you can see the difference. I can go back into those colors, and I can go into the brightness and contrast, or I can go into color balance, and I can adjust the color balance in here as well. Just kind of fun. So you can just have a blast fooling around. Now I've been working on the midtones. I can do the shadows separately. Mine's frozen, but yours would be able to click on shadows and then readjust, and it would just do shadow areas and highlights. So you can have fun with that. There's also a preview, and preserving the luminosity means that you're just it's not gonna change like the intensity of the color, if that makes sense. So clicking OK, and then of course save. Okay, and I could go into Colorize some more, and I could go into hue and saturation. This is another tool, and you can play around with the hues and the saturations. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I like how we just got awfully red like that. That looks sweet. Ooh, it's just hard to decide, you know? It's a little bit too much fun. You can take the color right out of something with saturation tool, but this isn't a black and white one, so you want to definitely don't do that. I can click OK, and I can go Control Z and go back and look at my previous steps, Control Y to redo them. And I think I'm going to go with that. Okay. So the other thing I was thinking I might do is go into the brightness and contrast again, because I can make it darker. I can make it a little less intense. So that's kind of a nice feature. And then I can intensify the contrast if I want to really see those veins popping out. Ooh, okay. So I'm going to go OK. And I'm going to save. I always want to be saving. Now I'm going to hit Control Z and just look at my changes. Okay, Control Y. Yeah, that's definitely what I want. And I want to get rid of these marching ants, so I'm going to do Select None. And now they're gone. Kind of interesting looking at this point. So my next step is going to be to select the other parts of the giraffe, and I'm going to use my magic wand again, and I'm going to zoom in really far because I want to make sure that I can see exactly what I'm selecting. So I'm going to get started on that now, and I will come back to you once I have that finished. Remember to hold the Shift key down to add color, and to hold the Control key down if you accidentally make a mistake, or click Control Z to undo. But if you kind of accidentally, like say I accidentally got that, I could hit my control button, or I could undo, whichever be easier. So shift to select. And remember, you can adjust your threshold. So this is getting a little tedious, so I'm going to increase my threshold a little bit and go up to 20 and see if I can still get a really good select. And I am. I'm getting a good select. It's not bleeding into other areas. It's looking perfect. So I am going to just keep going with 20, and I'll be back. Now, one thing you'll notice is that every now and then you'll just have all these little splotches in here, and it would just be so much easier to select them. So that's what this lasso or free select tool will allow you to do. Remember, you do have to hold the shift key down though. So I am just going to draw around all of these little spots that I want to be included in my selection. And I know it's not perfect. I can go back and fix stuff. But I'm going around and I'm going to end up where I started on that yellow dot. If you I just clicked my left mouse clicker and held it down that entire time. And now once I've reached that yellow circle, I'm going to release and notice that it got rid of all of that for me. So that's pretty helpful. You can go ahead and do that in all of these other areas too. You can just select a whole area if you're noticing that you get all those little dots. So that's another cool use, the lasso tool. And I'm going back. I'm going to click save. And I'm going back to my wand, and I'm going to keep on keeping on. This can be kind of a time-consuming process, but in the end, it will be worth it. Okay, so I'm still working and just trying to get the outer edges of this. It looks like it picked up a little green here. I can use my control and unclick those pixels. It did a pretty good job with that. There's a couple more down here I want to, and then control Z. If that's going to be too sensitive, I can go ahead and save and use my lasso tool and hold on the control, and I'll lasso around that, and that's an area, since I had control, it's going to subtract that from my selection. So if there's any areas that you want to subtract, just grab your lasso tool and draw a circle around them if it's just a little too sensitive. And if you try selecting something, it's going to like select a whole entire area that you don't want it to select. You'll notice that there were some areas up here in my red that kind of had that same color. Save. I'm going to hit shift because I'm going to try to select just that one. I got it. So I am being pretty particular, and I am trying to make sure if I see any pixels that are the same color as that white, that I do grab them, because in the end it's just going to make the image look really powerful. And I am making sure that I'm not keeping that red. Remember, I had a little bit of red in the eyes that I added on purpose. Okay, so I am pretty sure I have selected all of the areas that I want to colorize on this cool looking giraffe. Different color scheme. I could be really picky and continue to go in and get more, but I think like the outer edge of this ear could probably be picked up too. Like it's the little details like that are gonna make it look more realistic for, kind of an unrealistic type of subject. So let's just see here. Add that. Oops. Nope. That's why those pixels weren't selected. Okay. Alright. Looks pretty good. What do you think? Should we go for it? Let's see. Could I try to get more of the edge here? I can try. Okay. So of course course, save, and let's go ahead and zoom out and watch what happens when I go to Colorize. So here's the hard part. Now you have to decide what you're going to go with. You could go with color theory, and you could pick a complementary color. So the color that would be opposite would be complementary. So I could go with this green color here. Let's see what happens if I can get, see how I can get a green. I might have to, I'm going to cancel that. Okay, so I wasn't really liking the way Colorize worked, so I'm going to try my color balance and see if this does the trick. So I am trying to get more green. I'm going for this opposite color here. So let's see, how would I have to adjust to get that green? Having a hard time finding it. Well, it's a little bit closer. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get shadows to do it too. So, and then the highlights. Well, I'm not exactly crazy about this color that I've got right now, but I know that if I click OK, I can always undo it. And I'm going to go into, I'm going to try hue and saturation and click on green. And anything that's green, it's going to enhance. Yeah, that's not helping. That's allowing me to change the color of the green, but I don't want to change the color of it. I'm going to set that to 0. I want to increase the intensity of it, so I'm guessing this is going to be a saturation. But even when I saturate, that's not really. So I think I have to take the lightness down, intensify the saturation. Let's try that. I can always hit undo these, and then I'm going to go to that brightness and contrast, and maybe I can get that contrast that I'm looking for with this one, because that was more of what I did with that other color before. So I might not be totally crazy about this, but oh well. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click, I'm just going to go ahead and move my little color palette over here, and I'm going to save what I have, and I'm going to select none, and there is my brand new giraffe with complementary colors of red and green, just like we see here on this color wheel. So let's see, what should we do for the sky? I'm just going to zoom in and start selecting that blue color. I'll start over here in this corner. There we go. And already off to a good start, getting all that blue, and holding down my shift key to select more blue as I go. I'm going to continue selecting my blue sky, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have gone over the picture and I have selected lots and lots of blue areas, as you can see up here, all the way around the trees and around the giraffe. And these trees over here. Took me a long time to do this. It's very tedious, and I know I didn't get all of the blue spots. There's probably going to be lots of areas that don't get colorized as they should, but I think I have quite a bit selected. It should be enough to carry it and have it look good. So I'm just kind of going over and finding little areas that I might have missed. Oh, here we go, some areas in the fur. So that's going to look really good since we're being so detailed about it. All those little details will really help pull it together. So there's some areas that I don't have selected in here. Try and catch those. So it is rather tedious work, but like I was saying, it'll be worth it. I might have some areas that I need to use my lasso tool here. So using shift and just drawing around these areas here that I would like to be included in that selection. So just snagged a huge area there. Some pieces in here that should probably be included, some pieces in here that should be included. So this is an easy way to just go back and get some things selected that for some reason it just didn't want to click on it. You'll see that happened and it can be a little bit frustrating, but that lasso tool can be a lifesaver. So I'm just holding down the shift key again and I have to hit escape. So if you ever start a tool and it starts acting funny, just hit escape and then you can start again from scratch. So getting these little bubbles in here that for some reason just didn't want to be a part of my selection. So this is almost there. Almost there. Alright, you see any other areas? Well, if you do, you probably couldn't tell me about it anyway though, right? Since you're out there in TV land and I'm in here. But anyway, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's looking good. I know it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Okay, so let's go ahead and colorize that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do View, Zoom, Fit Image to Window. And I'm trying to think what color I would want to do my sky. I want to do it something that's going to be way different. So I am kind of thinking about going over here to the other side of the color wheel and doing something yellow. So let's see how that goes. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and click OK on that. And I will try some of the others. Try hue and saturation. And select the yellow and see if I can, I don't want to change the hue, but maybe I can get it to look a little, yeah, that's not changing it too much. Let's try Colorize. I think we're just going to cancel that. Just kind of going into the different toolboxes but doing kind of the exact same thing. So I'm going to try my brightness and contrast now. Let's see. That contrast definitely makes it a little brighter. I kind of felt like I wanted it to be a little oranger. But I think that looks pretty good, so I'm going to leave it like that. And in fact, what I'm going to do, because I did all of that work in the trees and I don't want to lose that, I'm going to do a little trick right now, and I'm going to go select, invert. And when I invert this selection, instead of having the yellow sky selected, it's going to have everything else selected. So right now, what I need, you can see these marching ants are going around the outside of these trees. So all the trees are now selected, but the problem is I also have the giraffe selected. This giraffe is selected too, so I need to use my control button and deselect those areas. So what I can do to deselect a large amount of them is take my lasso tool, and I'm just going to hit control because I want to erase, and I'm just going to go in here, and I'm going to do it this way, and I'm just going to, well, let's see. I don't think that is actually selected, is it? Probably I'm just going to go right in here. I'm just going to go around all the stuff that I want to erase out of that selection. And let's just get rid of all that. Good deal. We'll get rid of this giraffe. And I'm just going to go along this way and get rid of all that. Oops. Getting rid of that giraffe ear, coming around here, and okay, so I just deselected this giraffe. The yellow's not selected. I do have a little bit here that is still selected, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to zoom in, click save, my zoom. Zoom in and just deselect some of these other areas here that when I was just doing it from a distance, I kind of messed up. So I'm going to go back to my wand tool now and hit control because I'm actually shift if I'm going to add the green. I want to add the leaves, the green leaves, and if there's anything I want to get rid of, like the color green in this ear, I'm going to hit control. So shift to add greens that I want to the selection. Oh, that is looking so good. I'm so excited. There might be some greens in here, right, that we should have added, but oh well, we're just going to leave it as it is. Getting over here, I should probably add a little bit of that green there. And add this, whoops, didn't like how that turned out. Let's try that again. Ooh, that just wants to add the giraffe all the way over there, doesn't it? Okay, controls, control, 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 Z. Undoing that, I'm going to have to use my lasso tool. So lasso, control, and shift. I want to add this green area to my selection. Okay, so now that's added. I can go ahead and add this green area. Might be able to get a little closer. So I'm going to work on that and be right back. Holding down the control, getting rid of the ear because that's already been taken care of. Getting rid of that. Or maybe adding it, shift if you want to add it. Okay, so this is looking good. Okay. Alright, so now we have all of the trees selected. And we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to hit view, zoom, fit image to window, and I'm ready to colorize the trees now. So here we go. Let's see. Now that we're doing the trees, and I'm thinking I've got this yellow, opposite of yellow is purple, so if I want to go with that complementary color, I'm going to do purple. You don't have to go with complementary colors, but it can definitely create a dramatic effect. So going to colors, I'll just try hue, and anything yellow. Oh, actually, we're not doing yellow right now, so I'm going to cancel this. We're actually changing the color of the leaves on the trees, not the yellow. So color, should we do colorize, hue, saturation? I'm going to go ahead and do hue. And what did I say? I wanted to change that to purple. So looking at my color wheel, let's see. Is that the purple that I wanted? This is going to disappear as soon as I pick that up. So it's pretty close. What do you like? Okay, I'm going for it. Got lightness, darkness, saturation. So I am just going to go ahead and leave it like that for now. Click OK. And then I'm going to brightness and contrast, my favorite tool. And I'm going to just go with some contrast there. And maybe I won't like it. You never can tell. That might not be exactly what you want. You can always go back to your hue and saturation tool and adjust that as you need to. Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it that way. I'm going to go save. And then the last thing I need to do is my little zebra down here. I'm going to go ahead and work on that, and then I'll be back. So if you remember, you're going to do select none to get rid of all of your marching ants. Click on your zoom tool, zoom in on your zebra, or gosh, I don't know why I keep calling it a zebra. Really? Zoom in on your giraffe and get your magic wand and start clicking, check your threshold, make sure you're at a good threshold. I'm too high, so I need to lower my threshold back down to probably about 15 and hit Control Z, and we'll just go from there. So I'm, yeah, having a hard time not clicking and getting too much stuff, but if that happens, just hit Control Z. And then you might end up having to just decrease your threshold a little bit. So, and you can always go back later on and use your freehand tool or your lasso tool to go and deselect whatever you don't want. Like in this area right here, I'm thinking that I'm going to have to hit my control key and just kind of draw around that area so that it's not selected. I might have some other areas in here that I might need to do that with. So the color in here is just, the colors are a little more similar. So that's what that tool's for. Get rid of them. Alright, I'll keep working and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm going to do the opposite, and what I want to do is make these guys green. Don't know if I'm noticing any changes at all in this. And I'm going to go ahead and use that trick again. I'm going to go to select and I'm going to invert. Okay. So I know that I've inverted the selection. You can tell because the marching ants will go around the outside of the picture. So it is selecting everything except these little dots now. So what I need to do is I need to use my control and my lasso tool. I have to think about this. I'm going to hold the control key down and I'm going to deselect the things that are not in this brown area. So already these green spots are deselected, okay? Because that's what I did when I inverted it. When they were selected, I didn't have marching ants on the outside. I'll show you. I'll invert it again. You can see there's no marching ants on the outside now. They're only around the spots to show that what's inside those marching ants is selected. I'm going to select invert. Now the marching ants are around the outside, indicating that it's outside of these spots that's selected. So I'm going to hold my control key down and I'm going to, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's get my lasso. There we go. And I am going to draw all around the giraffe. And I'm just going to finish up this little loop right here. Okay. So now there's a little corner there. Oops, sorry. When weird things start happening, just hit escape and persevere. And if you have to go back a step, then go back a step. So I'm hitting control, so I want to get rid of this little area. And so that looks good. So right now all I have selected over here is that. I'm going to slide up a little bit and I'm going to just use my lasso tool to go around the edge of the giraffe here and up around here. And I'm going to deselect all of that space. But it's pretty big on the canvas, so I might have to zoom in a second. So I'm going to go this way. I've got my control key down because I'm trying to get rid of all of this. Okay, control key, going around the outside. And just, where did I start? Does anybody remember? Oh, I must have started down here. There we go. Okay. So once I get around the outer edge of the giraffe, then I can go ahead and zoom out and just deselect the rest of the picture. But just kind of want to get around the outside of it, and then I missed this area down here. Okay. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to zoom out by going to View, Zoom, Fit Image to Window. And so now I just have to select the rest of this with my lasso tool. So holding control and going all the way around the canvas and finding my start point. Oops, sorry. It's getting a little confusing. There it goes. Okay, got a couple more I gotta erase. A couple more here. This little dot there. Okay, so now that I've done that, the only thing that's selected is the white part of the giraffe. And that's the last part I'm going to colorize. And I'm going to colorize it the red color. So I got my dude here with, he's green with red spots, and she's going to be red with green spots. So here we go. I'm going to go to, I think I liked the hue and saturation tool the best. Let's see, I'm trying to find my red. I guess this right here is about as red as it's going to get. And then I'm going to have to just adjust. So I'm going to click OK. I can make it darker. Look at that, how vibrant she looks. Beautiful, darling. Saturate it, saturate it. Yes. Okay, save that. Okay, save, and colors, brightness and contrast. And let's see what we want to do with her. Oh wow, look at that intensity. Do I want her to be a little more bright and cheerful? Okay, I'm going with that. That's my story. And I'm going to do select none. And I am going to file, save. And that is my new image. It's my new world, and I used my color. All I did was go onto Google and did color wheel to come up with this. So I could see that I decided I wanted to use some complementary colors. So I think that that worked out really well. That took me over an hour, and if you're still watching this video, wow. Hopefully you figured it out by now and are working on your own project. Make sure that you colorize at least 3 different areas, okay? I colorized 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different areas. I want you to colorize at least 3 different areas. And taking a quick look at the Utah Visual Arts Standards, making is what you're doing right now. You are creating visual art, and you're using the GIMP program. You're using elements and principles. You've got elements of design, line, shape, space, value, texture, color. We are working a lot in color, and talking about contrast is important. Harmony, rhythm, balance, proportion, scale. So taking all of those things into consideration. And I wanted to just show you some examples of student work. So these are some examples of colorization projects. Not all of them fulfilled the requirements, did they? There's only one color in there. So this student only did 1 colorization. You need to have at least 3. This student did 3. The purple, that blue, and that red hue. This one did 3, green, purple, and red. So I didn't ask for any black and white. This student decided to do that, but even though they did black and white, they still did 1, 2, 3 different colorizations. So good job, the student did fulfill the requirements. That one's pretty cool. That one's really fun. You can tell the student did a lot of work on that, but probably needed to zoom in. Maybe use a higher quality image. It already looks pixelated at the size that it is. That one is interesting. So, all right. Well, you all have fun with that. It has been a pleasure. It's like the middle of the night now. I feel like my whole family